More holdout information is coming on, and it's another secondary player, Cian, McDermott, Suraj, Kodali. Welcome back to the Sports Scoop, guys. Today, as you saw by the title, by the thumbnail, we're talking about Dolphins cornerback, highest interception player last year, Xavien Howard, and how a holdout and potentially a trade could be on the horizon for the Miami Dolphins star corner. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. We'll be going over, breaking down everything in this video, so do make sure that you stay till the end and let us know what you think in the comments down below after you watch the video. But Xavien Howard, holdout or not, still a good corner, trade or not, still a good corner, but we'll be getting into all that next.
Very interesting storylines heading into new training camp this season is that the fact that Xavien Howard does seem to be a contender for definitely holding out and potentially, who knows, maybe even a trade. The story really is Xavien Howard has really wanted more money from, given that he has had a spectacular season last year. He, I believe, led the league in interceptions, had 8, and was a potential defensive player of the year candidate. However, the Dolphins are hesitant to give him a new contract, which is something that Xavien Howard does desire. So, given the fact that the Dolphins defense is already strong and they still aren't fully completed the rebuilding phase, could it be that Xavien Howard is traded to another team, maybe potentially a contender in the NFL?
Not calling the Dolphins a contender. I'm
What?
joking. Not calling the Dolphins a contender. I'm joking.
No,
yeah,
come
but
on,
more of obviously Suraj said more kind of the boring stuff. So basically, last year, 2019, last year, or 2 years ago technically, right? Because
yeah,
technically
confusing.
2 years.
This time of year is confusing with what's
it
what
is
last year, what's 2 years ago.
So technically 2 years ago, 2019, he basically obviously got off his rookie deal, signed a 6-year contract with the Dolphins. But basically what they're saying is he now wants to tear it up and start over. And I mean, I guess Suraj, I don't know if you agree, but I would say rightly so. Had a phenomenal season, 8 interceptions. Interceptions change games, and he was a great cornerback, arguably the best in the league, depending on who you talk to. Definitely Dylan, who's another host on our show, who is a Dolphins fan. But definitely a top 3 cornerback, worth the money, and is currently not the highest paid corner in the league. And I think he wants his money. We see this, obviously, if you guys saw my Jamal Adams video, make sure to go check it out after this. You know, at the end of the day, good players want money. Good players want the money that they deserve and that they're worth. And at the end, I mean, it's not like, well, you're out of order. Yeah, it makes sense. Is this kind of coming at a time that's a bit awkward? Yeah, you have a rebuilding quarterback. Losing Xavien Howard for the Dolphins would be a massive blow to that defense. Obviously, they would get a ton of compensation, but as well as it says here, if they were to trade him, potential trade which could happen if he holds out, and the Dolphins are hesitant right now and end up not thinking he's worth that money. If they were to trade him, he would leave behind a cap charge of $1.4 million per year, and then a $2.8 million charge in 2022. So he's obviously not a cheap player and would leave behind small dents in the Dolphins organization. But in terms of holding out, I think we see this with every single player that wants to get paid. They hold out because it gives them leverage on getting a new contract. Do I think Xavien Howard will get traded? No. Do I think he will get a new contract? I think so. I'm not sure what the Dolphins' money is. I'll try and find that out. But I'm assuming not much. I mean, it's after the free agency period and after you sign rookies, which rookies aren't expensive, but you spend money on them. And you're obviously after re-signing players. So it's not like most NFL teams have a lot of money. They've mostly spent their money for the 2020-2021 season so far. But Suraj, in terms of impact, what do you think about this? How is this going to affect? And, like, what do you think about this holdout for Xavien Howard? Because obviously such a big cornerback in this league and a playmaker for the Dolphins.
Well, I think obviously it's very important, especially for the Dolphins, considering he is obviously, as you previously heard, is one of the stars of the Dolphins defense, probably the main star on the Dolphins defense. And I think probably a huge factor of why the Dolphins, especially their defense, is so feared, is because of their secondary. You have Howard, you have Byron Jones. The safety is going to be improved with Javon Holland and Jason McCourty. So it's a scary team. So obviously for a defensive coach like Brian Flores, who again isn't out of that final phase of rebuild, they'll probably want to keep around Xavien Howard, one of the better corners in the NFL, zone, man-to-man. He's very good at both. And especially considering he's so key to flipping field, to changing games with his interceptions, I think he's a piece that definitely Miami would not want to lose. So in terms of impact, I think this would be a massive impact, not only for the Dolphins, but probably for the rest of the AFC East, maybe even the whole AFC, considering we don't know. Who knows how good the Dolphins can be next season. In terms of cap, they currently have
about
about
5 million.
Above a little over 5 million. So I'm pretty sure they can make a few moves to afford Xavien Howard and give him that new contract that he so desires. But the problem is, maybe it's not convenient, considering the Dolphins they're in a rebuild. They probably want to, they're getting towards becoming a contender, but they still probably want to address a few key positions to maybe improve in those areas and contend in the AFC. So, like Cian said, it's a bit of an awkward situation for Miami, but obviously not impossible to get out of. But I think it'll be very interesting how this plays out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, certainly. And what's really funny, if you look at over the cap, the two highest paid players for the Miami Dolphins are both cornerbacks. Obviously, Byron Jones, who they brought over from Dallas last year at a $14 million base salary, their highest paid player. And then Xavien Howard, their second highest paid player, at $12,075,000 with a prorated bonus of $1.4 million. And a dead money and cap savings in $16.275 million. So, not cheap. Obviously, the Dolphins have invested a lot in their secondary. Obviously, getting Noah Igbenogany in the draft. Now they got who they get. They got Coleman from the Lions. They obviously have two great corners in Xavien Howard and Byron Jones. Who else did they get, Suraj? I'm forgetting. They have a very deep secondary. Obviously, safeties included.
They got Noah Igbenogany in the draft last year.
Yeah, so I said that, and then Javon Holland, obviously this year slot/safety. But back to Xavien Howard, I think holding out wise, it's a tough thing, because I feel like when someone hears holding out, it's like, oh my God, he's gonna leave. Like, whenever you hear holding out, it's not a good thing. Obviously, it's never a good way. No matter which way you look at it, it's never a good thing. But I feel like people exaggerate it a lot more than it has to be. At the end of the day, players simply just need to do that because they want to get their money. And again, more specifics, I believe he's holding out of mini camp, or was it OTAs? I'm not sure. I think it's mini camp.
Yeah, I think it was.
Which is mandatory mini camp. So when it gets to that, it is definitely a bit scary. More scary. But in terms of trade, Surge, what would you give odds of Xavien Howard not being a Miami Dolphin going into 2021?
I think the odds are higher that Miami would keep Xavien Howard than they would let him go, considering the fact that I feel like this is a very easily mendable situation. It's not something where there are growing issues in the organization. Miami is a place where I think a lot of people want to be. The tax is low there. It's just a generally nice place to live, and the organization that they're building is very exciting with Brian Flores and Will Grier.
I definitely agree. I think you don't see teams like that moving off corners who are that good, and it's not like the Dolphins are a really bad team where you kind of the Jalen Ramsey situation. The Jaguars were losing a lot of players and kind of obviously going towards a rebuild, and Jalen Ramsey goes, and obviously that's how you see you're going towards a rebuild. You let go of your best player, you get cap. Or not cap, you get money, you get obviously draft picks, and then you start your rebuild off that. So I think in terms of Xavien Howard trade, it would kind of be awkward, as I said in the beginning, because obviously you guys know I'm not an avid Tua supporter to say the least. Suraj knows that. You guys know if you watch our live stream, obviously Dylan knows that. I'm not a big Tua supporter. I don't think he is the future, but at the end of the day, he could be. I mean, I'll admit he could be. I don't think he will, but we're gonna I continuously go on about Tua. We're not going to talk about him, but if you're a Dolphins fan, let us know in the comments. But Xavien Howard moving on from it doesn't make sense, because you're a team that got 10 wins last season, so moving on from someone to get more cap and get into a rebuild doesn't make sense, because you got double-digit wins. So like, it's not like they need to. It's not like Xavien Howard's unhappy with the team. He just wants more money. So again, I think it's one of those things where obviously there is not a ton of NFL content, so we're talking about this because it's an interesting topic. It's content to get out to you guys, our supporters. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. It's not like Xavien Howard's unhappy. At least it doesn't seem like he's disgruntled. It doesn't seem like Chris Grier has said anything that indicates he's moving anywhere. It's just hesitant. I mean, in a COVID year, teams don't have a lot of money and don't want to give players a ton of money right now. So I think I think it's as simple as that. As always, I am not an expert. I am not the NBC analyst I hope to be one day. So we'll see. But Suraj, what else do you think?
Yeah, I think that's mostly what sums it up. I think with Xavien Howard, obviously there are a lot of teams nowadays that are cornerback needy, so I wouldn't be surprised if definitely the Dolphins do get an offer too. But I would doubt, especially with a defensive-minded organization,
exactly.
That is formed with the idea of stability. I doubt they'll probably want to trade him, and I don't even know if Xavien Howard wants to be traded. Again, a holdout doesn't always mean that someone wants to get traded. They just want to, it's simple as I want money, or maybe you are unhappy with the organization, but that's not really the sense I get with this type of move by Xavien Howard.
There you have it. The Sports Scoop breakdown once again comes at you and breaks down the whole situation. Obviously, as I said, do make sure to go check out my Jamal Adams one I did by myself if you want to break down that. There are a couple other players who are holding out potentially for new contracts, so we will most likely get videos out about them. And as always, our Bust Your Boom series where we preview each NFL team for the 2021 NFL season, basically giving an outlook and then giving our record prediction. Live streams we're trying to do every Thursday from now on. So, comment anything down below you want to be answered there, or you can show up to the live stream and get in the live chat. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you did enjoy, and turn on notifications. As well, as I said, comment down below, what do you think about Xavien Howard? What do you think the chances of him are moving? I had a great conversation with someone in my Jamal Adams video in the comments. So as always, me and Suraj are both very, very open. Talk to us. We're open minds. So let us know what you think. And Instagram, The Sports Scoop, Twitter, The Sports Scoop. You can find us over there. You can message us over there, and more clips, consumable content is all on that page. Without further ado, that was The Sports Scoop breakdown of Xavien Howard. Let us know what you think, and we will see you in the next video.